Hi everyone and welcome back to the Astronomy Guide. In this video I will show you the SkyWatcher Mercury 60mm Refractor Telescope. So let's dig right in and I will show you the specifications and the benefits with this telescope. And stay to the end because there I will tell you whether this is a good beginner's telescope or if this is a telescope that you should avoid. So okay, let's start. The telescope comes with a full height tripod, aluminium tripod with fully extendable legs. In the middle of the tripod we have the accessory tray. That is a very neat little feature, especially when you are out observing and you can place your eyepieces, filters or other equipment and you can have it very close to hand when you do your observing session. Very sturdy, good mount that creates good stability for your telescope, and the height is very good. I would say definitely for this type of small telescopes, but the height is very comfortable when you are out observing. And the telescope is easily rotated on top of the tripod in a fork mount like this. So you have the easy movement back and forward from right to left like that. And there is a locking knob on the center here where you can lock it in place. So the movement is locked in right and left. And if I unscrew this one here and show you the other side of the telescope, here you have a rod that you can loosen this thumb screw here, and then you can do big adjustments up and down on the telescope. Then you lock it, and then you have a little thumb screw on the rod here where you can adjust up and down in smaller movements. And this is perfect when you're tracking an object, for example the moon or the planet. You have the rotation and you need to constantly keep tracking the object, and this is a very good mount to start with, especially if you are a beginner into astronomy. This type of mount is easy, absolutely, but it's a good way to start. If you have other mounts like an equatorial mount, it's a little bit trickier to understand exactly how to adjust and move the telescope. So this is a good start. If you are a little bit unsure if astronomy is something for you, this could really be a good start to the telescope when it comes to the mount, definitely. But let's dig a little bit more into the optics, and then in the end I will tell you if you should go for this telescope or not if you are a beginner. But the adjusting and the movements is really nice, really easy to use, definitely. And as I said, it's a 60mm diameter telescope, refractor telescope. So we have the lens cap here in the front, diameter 60, and we have the focal length of 700 millimeters. Good optics, definitely. This is a telescope that I would recommend to use when observing planets or the moon, not really deep sky objects. It could be nice to look at some stars, absolutely, but not for deep sky objects. I don't prefer to have a telescope like this. You need a bigger aperture to have more light coming in, and but for planets, moon, you can take really awesome pictures with this type, or if you don't are into astrophotography, you can just enjoy doing the observing session. You don't need to take the pictures, of course, but you can take if you want to. On the side of the telescope, there is an optical finder scope, easy to use. Could be a little bit, I say easy to use, and then I say could be tricky to align, but uh, one of my 5 beginner tips for a beginner into astronomy is to really align the finder scope with the telescope. So when you are out observing and you look into the finder scope, you uh, lock the telescope on a target, then you want to see exactly the same thing in the eyepiece and in the telescope. But this type of finder scope can be a little bit tricky to adjust because they have three adjustment screws, and when you lose them, the whole finder scope become loose in the holder. So they can be a little bit tricky, but when they are aligned with telescope, they are really easy to use. Red dot finders normally have easier adjustments knobs to turn, but this one, yes, a little bit trickier, but a good finder scope, optical finder scope for this type of telescope. Easy to mount on the side of the telescope tube. Um, Two small thumb screws where you screw it in place. You slide this finder scope into the holder and tighten these screws. But again, the tips that you need to align the finder scope with the telescope, otherwise it can be very hard to find objects in the night sky. Yes, and then we have the focusing knobs down here. So when you turn them, this tube comes out, and this is the when you focus on the object that you are observing. And then we have two small thumb screws here, and this is to lock either your eyepiece or a diagonal into place. And it comes with a dust cap that keeps the optical clean and safe when you're not using it. And yes, you can use the eyepiece directly in here without any diagonal. Then you place the eyepiece like this. Let me just unscrew this thumb screw a little bit, and you place it like that. Not the easiest position when you are out observing, especially a target high up in the sky. Now you need to stand like this to be able to see something. Not the most optimal position, but for celestial view, then it's much better. Now you can stand like this and have a look at the object that you are observing. But if we point the telescope up in the sky, then we want to have a diagonal. 90 degrees diagonal comes with the telescope. It's a basic diagonal made out of plastic, but it's okay to be the first one with the telescope. But if you see that astronomy is something for you, you will go for a little bit more expensive and more technical telescope. Then you should also have a better diagonal. But for this type of telescope, it's okay. So you place the diagonal and tighten thumb screws a little bit, and then you insert your eyepiece like that, and now it's much more comfortable. Now you can stand like this and have a look at the object. So this is the aim with the diagonal, to have a better position when you are out observing. So that can help a lot. So with the telescope, it comes with the diagonal, it comes with a 20mm eyepiece, and also 10mm eyepiece. Really good eyepiece to start with. And again, if this is your first telescope, the diagonal, the eyepieces, they are okay. They are not the best quality, but they are really good to start with and see if this is something for you, or if astronomy is not for you. And I always say it's better to start a little bit cheaper and easier, not with the cheapest quality, because then you will just be disappointed and you will not be into astronomy at all. So there is a balance there between very cheap, not scrap equipment, but very cheap equipment that can really ruin your complete um, how to say experience with your telescope. But okay, diagonal two different eyepieces, 20 and 10 millimeters, and then you also have a 2 times Barlow lens. When you place this between the diagonal or the eyepiece, it doubles the magnification that you are using. And you can place it either before the diagonal, you can place it directly into the telescope and then the diagonal, or after the diagonal into the telescope, then the Barlow lens, and then the eyepiece. So there is different ways of how to use it. And also another thing that comes with this telescope is erecting eyepiece 1.5. And when you're using this, if you point your telescope in celestial view, the picture will be upside down. And I have actually published a short about this, why it becomes upside down, and you can have a look. It's a very short on YouTube, so there you can see and understand why the image will be upside down. But if you use this erecting eyepiece, and the magnification will increase 1.5 times together with your eyepiece, but also the picture will be in the right way again. So if you're using it like that, you can place this into the telescope like that, and then attach your diagonal and your eyepiece. So this can be handy if you want to use the telescope for celestial objects. Again, good thing to start with, not the best quality, but definitely worth the price. And since it's included with the telescope, absolutely, it's good equipment to start with. So I would say that this is the go-through of this telescope. I don't think that we have missed anything. So now to the final question: is this a good telescope for you as a beginner into astronomy? Yes, I would say so. This is a cheaper telescope. If you can buy a little bit more expensive telescope to be your first telescope, I would recommend that. This one is really in the field of becoming too cheap, to be honest. But if you are on a budget, this is what you can afford. Do it. Definitely do it. You can have really nice observing sessions with this telescope, but then you should be unsure about, is astronomy something for you or not? If you already know that you like astronomy, you want to be more into that, and you want to explore more, maybe with astrophotography, you should try to aim for a little bit better telescope, bigger aperture, a little bit more quality eyepieces, and diagonal. But overall, this is a really good telescope. I don't want to say anything else about that, because it's nice. I have used it outside several times when observing the moon, and I can tell you that the view is amazing. So don't hesitate. If this is what you can afford, buy it, try it, and yes, hopefully you will get into astronomy as well. I hope you found this video helpful, interesting, and as a guide for you when you will choose maybe your first telescope. That's why I do these videos, to help people to understand what type of equipment there is out there in the market. There is several different manufacturers. I focusing a lot of the brands that I'm familiar with, and I have mostly used Meade, Celestron, and SkyWatcher. This is the three main brands of telescope and equipment that I'm familiar with. But please share in the comments what is your experience maybe with this telescope, this brand, or other brands, other telescopes. So we share knowledge and share information in this channel to help each other out in the astronomy field. But thank you so much for watching. If you have watched all the way to the end, please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. This helps so I can create more content with more equipment that hopefully is helpful and interesting for you. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video or the next short. Thank you. Bye.